Hi, welcome to the IPA Diagnosis Fun event. Before we begin our interactive video presentation, we would first like to take some time to introduce ourselves by stating our name, major, and our future career path. So my name is Anna Gomez. I have a major in Allied Health Sciences, and I'm hoping to pursue a career in physical therapy.
Hello everyone, my name is Katrina Kurowski. I am currently majoring in recreational therapy at Grand Valley State University, and I do plan on becoming a recreational therapist when I'm older. So I'm just going to jump right into it, and our first topic is going to be personal health and wellness. All right, so let's begin. Personal health and wellness. So for the first activity, these are some of the materials that you're going to need. This is called the germ experiment, and this is the first part of it. There's going to be two different experiments. So the materials that you are going to need are paint, a paintbrush, and a lot of paper towels because it will get a little bit messy. And so here are the steps that you're going to need to follow. You can go ahead and pause this video after to complete them, but first you're just going to want to paint one of your entire hands, like with the paint, spread it all over your hand, make sure it's all over the place. And then the second step is that you are just going to start touching things near you. So like maybe a cup, maybe like the table, maybe if you have a parent or somebody around you, sibling, you can go ahead and maybe hold their hand and just observe what happens. So you can go ahead and pause the video and then come back to it when you're done. So what are some of the things that you noticed happened? Did the paint get everywhere? Like, is there paint all over the objects that you touched? Like, did it transfer over? Do you still have paint on your hand? And also the last question is very important. Have you ever considered that this is the way that germs spread from yourself to other things? So as you can see, it's very easy for us to spread the paint from our hands to different objects, just like it is for germs to spread. And so that's a very important thing to keep in mind. But how do we prevent germs from spreading? So you're going to want to go to the next activity to help find out more. Alright, so this is part 2 of our little germ experiment. And so the materials you're going to need for this one are 2 medium-sized bowls filled with like halfway up with room temperature water. And you're also going to need soap and then some pepper. Okay, so the first step is first you want to place pepper in both of the bowls of water. And then you're going to want to take the first bowl and then just dip your index finger in, nothing on it, no soap or anything on it yet. Just dip your finger in the water and then watch what happens. So I'll let you pause the video and see if anything happened when you did that. And so if you did pause and came back to this, you should have observed that nothing really extraordinary happened. The pepper stayed the same, and maybe you might get a little pepper on your finger. But yeah, so let's see the next few steps of this experiment. So the next part is you're going to want to take that second bowl of water, put a little bit of soap around your fingertip, and then dip it in the water, and then watch what happens. So you can pause the video and then come back if you Okay, and so here is a nice picture example of what your second bowl of water should look like. Do you notice how all the pepper just immediately went to the sides of the bowl? And so there's a lot of science behind this, but there are a few things that I want to consider when I brought this experiment into this presentation. And we're going to pretend that the pepper was little germ molecules just floating in the water. And so, as you could see in the second part of that experiment, that the soap repelled the pepper to the ends of the bowl. And so, similarly, soap can eliminate bacteria and germs from your body. And so, it's important to know also how to properly wash your hands so that you can help prevent the spread of germs so that you're not spreading it to different things within your home or spreading germs to other people. So, I included a nice little diagram of what you should consider when you're washing your hands. So obviously you use soap and water, and you do palm to palm. You also want to make sure that you're getting in between your fingers. Focus on your thumbs, the back of the hands, and even the wrists. A lot of people forget about the wrists and going in between the fingers. And then it's also important that you're washing them for a long enough time. So a nice trick that a lot of people I know do is they sing happy birthday twice, and that's how you know that your hands are going to be properly cleaned. And so you guys can take a moment and consider what are other ways that we can do to help stop or prevent the spread of germs. So you can go ahead and take a minute. Maybe you can write a list out of different ways that you think that you can help prevent the spread of germs by things other than washing your hands. All right. So here I gave you a nice little list of different things that you can do to help prevent the spread of germs. So using hand sanitizer right now because of COVID-19, also wearing a mask, it helps prevent your saliva and spit from coming out of your mouth. There's a lot of bacteria, a lot of germs in your mouth, so that's a good way to help prevent that. You can sanitize areas that you use often. So doorknobs, light switches, tables, anything. If you see a little dust collecting, that probably means there's germs there. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping your rooms really clean and you're keeping your house really tidy and you're sanitizing things. And also by not touching everything, I know sometimes it's very hard. A lot of times, like especially if you're a very touchy person, you can go ahead and just want to touch everything that you see, but it's very important to not touch objects that you don't need to touch because that is how germs spread. So next time that you see somebody playing with something really nice or you're in the store, if you can prevent touching something, that's really important because you don't want to spread your germs to other people and you don't want to pick up germs from other people. And so that is the end of our little presentation. And then next we are going to be talking about emotional wellness.
So our next activity is called Making Faces. The purpose of this activity is to help you identify and describe different kinds of feelings and emotions. So before we begin, I would like you to find a scrap piece of paper and a writing utensil. And with your parent, guardian, or teacher, I'd like you to take a few minutes to try and come up with a short list of different types of feelings. So we're going to pause the video, and once you have your list, we're going to resume and then continue on with our activity. Okay, so now that we have our list, we can go ahead and gather the rest of our materials, which includes some plastic eggs and a permanent marker. So now that we have our materials, we are going to take our permanent marker, and just like the name suggests, we are going to be making spaces onto our plastic eggs. But before we start drawing, I would like you to grab your list and then look at the first feeling that you wrote down. I would then like you to read it aloud and think about what type of facial expressions would best represent that feeling. So what would the eyes look like? What about the mouth? Once you have a good idea for what that feeling looks like, I would like for you to take your marker and then try to draw it onto the plastic egg. Make sure to draw the eyes on the top half and a mouth on the bottom half. They should look similar to the picture that I'm about to show you on the left side of the screen. So for me, the first feeling that I wrote down on my list was happy. So I'm going to take a moment to think about what that would look like. And once I have a good idea or have that image in my head, I'm going to take my marker and then I'm going to draw that onto my egg. Just like so. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I would like you to do this for every feeling that you wrote down on your list. And feel free to deviate from it and get creative. The list was just there to help get you thinking about what types of feelings you could draw onto each egg. So once you have a good amount of faces drawn, I'm going to have you take each of your eggs and separate them into two halves. Once you've separated them all, I'm going to have you mix them all up on your table and then take some time to combine different tops and bottoms to create a variety of different facial expressions. So as you create new combinations, I'd like you to try and take some time and guess like what each facial expression represents, or what feeling would go along with each new combination that you make. And then discuss your reasonings why. So once you've played around with this for a little while and are feeling a little more confident in your ability to identify and describe different kinds of feelings, we can now move on to our next activity where we will be making emotional care tags. So the purpose of this activity is to kind of show you how to recognize negative feelings in yourself and then learn ways to respond to them or express them in an appropriate way. So for this activity, we are going to need the following materials: some index cards, a marker, a glue stick, safety scissors, a key ring, a hole punch, and the care tag template. So if you don't have all of these materials at home, that's okay. The two that you really need are just the first two, which are your index cards and a marker. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to print off our care tag template, and I will show you what that looks like right here. And I will be sure to include an attachment to this template somewhere in the video. So this is the care tag template. As you can see, there are 6 tags on the template, and each tag has 3 short statements that we will be filling out as soon as we get our care tag assembled. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration on how to do that. So I have my care tag template right here, and with my scissors, I'm going to cut out one of these tags. Doesn't have to look perfect. Okay, so now that I have my tag, I'm going to find my glue stick. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back and attach it onto my index card. So I have a small stack of colorful index cards. They don't have to be colorful, I just thought it would be more fun. And now that I have it glued, I'm going to attach it onto my card. Just like so. And now that it's attached, I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm just going to put a small hole right in the corner. Because once we're done with these, we're going to use a key ring, like so. We're just going to kind of loop them all onto the key ring so that they stay together and don't get lost. So once you have that done for all 6, you should have a short stack kind of like this, all with your key ring attached to them. And like I said before, if you don't have all of these materials at home, that's okay. What you really need is just your note card and a marker. And your parent or guardian can help you write out each of the 3 statements onto the note card. And you can always keep them together using a paper clip or a binder clip, just so they don't get lost. Okay, I'm going to move back onto our PowerPoint and we can get to the second half of our activity. Okay, so now that we have our care tags assembled, we can go ahead and start filling them out. So for the first blank, it says when you are going to be filling that in with a behavior. For the second blank where it says I am feeling, you are going to put in an emotion. So for example, when I cry, I am feeling sad. And once you have that behavior and that emotion on your care tag, I'd like you and your parent or guardian to kind of talk about what causes you to feel that way, or what are some reasons that might make you feel that negative emotion. And once you've figured out triggers or certain causes that make you feel that way, you are then going to talk about what you need to help you feel better, or what you need to help you process that emotion so that you can feel better. And once you figure out a healthy response or some form of self-care, you will put that into your third blank where it says I need. So I'm going to show you an example. Like I said, when I cry, I'm feeling sad. And for a healthy response is something that would help me feel better, I need a hug. So for everyone, it might be a little different, but the purpose is just to get you thinking about what behaviors you exhibit when you're feeling a certain way. So this is a great parent-child activity as it allows children the opportunity to be more open about how they're feeling. And it teaches them to kind of acknowledge these feelings and address them as they occur instead of pushing them away or ignoring them and letting them build up inside. It really helps your child build up their emotional resilience and will definitely help them later in life as they grow up and encounter different situations that will put certain emotional strain on them. So this wraps up our first topic, where we talked about social and emotional health. And now we are going to transition into our next topic, where we're going to discuss personal health and wellness.
So we really hope that you enjoyed our presentation. We want to make sure that you guys are staying healthy and happy, whether you're in school or out of school, doesn't matter. It's very important to stay safe, stay clean, and to make sure that we're keeping up with our own well-being and wellness. So just make sure you're staying healthy out there, and we hope that you all have a great rest of your day.